Several months have passed since I shared my first English-speaking video about the war, where I shared my story of a refugee and recalled the whole my route from Kiev, where it was harsh bombing, to Paris. Actually, it stopped when I found my first temporary home and the first family who helped me very much. I lived in the sixth arrondissement in a tiny and very nice rooftop studio, and my first months resembled the life of Emily in Paris. I tried to get used to the traits of French people, cried all the time, and continued to work part-time for the Ukrainian Media Bureau 24/7. However, it was obvious that this my work will not last long because the fashion advertising market in Ukraine died, and with that freelancer salary it was impossible to live in Paris. So I looked for another permanent job, and my first French family tried to help me with that.
Darling, you've got to keep holding on through the night, 'cause I promise you this.
The first thing that I was proposed is the keys from the office just for me to have some place to work, and it was very kind of the people who visited me. I had all the support I could only dream about, and it was really a very big help.
If you try,
I was contacted with a lot of people who were supposed to help me, and among all the people whom I met during that first period, there was one young man.
if you try to get some sleep,
To be honest, for me, it was a real life changer because actually he was like a destiny for me. He helped me a lot by himself, like with job propositions, with some kind of French courses. Actually, he met me with a family which became some kind of adopted family for me in Lyon. It was the family of the French teacher who invited me to come to her place for a week just to learn French better, because actually when you are living in Paris you cannot work and be totally integrated in the society if you do not speak French. was very on a very low level when I came, and now it's much better, and it's a big achievement of that man, yes, actually, and of his contacts. What is more, now I'm living at his flat, as a flat that belongs to his company, and it's one more life changer for me because it is in the 7th Paris, in a very touristic quartier. A lot of people would dream to live there, and maybe for me it would be much better if I was there for different reasons, but now I'm so happy that I have met that man, that I have arrived in Paris, and that kind of things have happened to me. During my stay in France, I have a lot, in fact. First, it was very difficult to find a job. I was looking for the job in fashion, but it has become clear that it is a very, very competitive industry, especially in Paris. So the only thing that I was recommended is to go to school and to start from the stages, internships, or a stage as it is called in France. And it was another partner of my first adoption family. I mean, the first family who provided me the flat in France, who found me a school that gave me the chance to learn free. It's a business school. It is called École Supérieure de la Publicité. It's some kind of the advertising school. And now I'm learning marketing in the luxury. As far as almost half a year has passed since I recorded this stock video parts, a lot has changed, and after a long search and a number of disappointing events, I could finally find a job. Now I'm a business developer and a marketing lead at a Web3 and blockchain healthcare startup in Malta. Besides the school, I have earned a grant for studying at the marketing leadership program from Emeritus and Kellogg School of Management in the United States, Illinois, and I'm about to start my studies. I was also admitted to the executive MBA program of the Schema School with 95% coverage, but still thinking about whether I should go there next year. My life in France became more meaningful. I could learn the language better and get used to the local habits and culture. There are a lot of differences, but I'm trying to adapt and respect them. Sometimes, especially in terms of gossips, bureaucracy, and the quality of services, it is hard. But that is another topic. Art and fashion are two big parts that help me keep going. Temporary protection, the status Ukrainian people received from the European governments, provides us with a wide range of cultural activities for free. The rest is covered by the student pass, and for me it's a real heaven. I visit at least 4-5 expositions a week and sometimes a day. Travel was another my escape from reality. I have been very limited in it, however, I managed to visit several cities in France and Switzerland. I was twice at Milan Fashion Week, went to see my doctor in Lithuania, and even went to Ukraine for 2 weeks in August. I have made a lot of friends in France. I continue communicating with the first family who hosted me and all the people I met during my first months in Paris. I have great support from the man who is still hosting me and his family and his friends. And for me, it is incredible how kind, open, and supportive all those people are to me, and I'm really grateful for that. Young family became even closer to me. We chat all the time, meet often, and I was very happy to be a part of the Christmas holiday celebrations in French Alps. One more big part of my refugee life is volunteering. I started with writing news for the international chats, then had some short-term projects with the Kyiv Museum of Holocaust. First, we helped all the Ukrainian museums to preserve their exponents and transfer them to other states. Then helped to find people's victims and witnesses of the war crimes of Russians for the Hague International Criminal Court. And finally, I became part of the association that supports wounded Ukrainian militaries in the Parisian region. However, I hope that I will have much more opportunities to help. Now, when I have been living in France for a year, I can say that it is a wonderful country. Nothing mentioned above would happen without the people whom I met, those who care, and the big support of the French government. However, like many Ukrainians, I am definitely homesick. This year was very hard mentally, emotionally, and physically. I was severely ill 6 times and had problems with my hemoglobin. I was fainting so often and even got to the ambulance on the New Year's Eve. I lived through my first panic attack. I was on the edge of having another clinical depression, but hopefully I gave freedom to emotions and tears, and it was a great relief. To be honest, I was crying everywhere, like at home, at night, especially at night, and in the shops, on the streets. However, I managed to avoid taking antidepressants as was prescribed, but I still have them with me just in case. And yes, I had to grow up, learn how to cook by myself, and keep my home tidy. I don't know if the things will become better or worse. I'm praying for Ukraine and praying for all the people who cannot leave Ukraine for a lot of reasons. Now it is very hot there, so actually I ask for everyone who can hear this, just if you have some kind of possibility to help Ukrainians who have came to your places like refugees, or to make any donations to the Ukrainians who are now in Ukraine, or to our soldiers who are fighting for our freedom and for freedom for all over Europe and for freedom throughout the world. So pray for Ukraine. So if this video was interesting, please give your feedback and subscribe to the channel to see the continuation of my story.